Hello, Little League coaches. This is the Season 7 All-Star Game, unofficial, with two rosters for the backyard and front yard leagues that I cooked up with Matty Sams, who is the front yard league leading coach at mid-season. So he's their representative. I'm representing the backyard league. Of course, this is just something I took the initiative to do, but that doesn't mean that this is official or anything. You listening to this can come up with your own roster and challenge someone from the opposite league if you like. Or you can go on a, Mikey Thomas was snubbed for catcher position campaign. Shout out Ben Rice fan. Okay, I guess I was going to do like a little bit of a lead in, but we're about to get into it, I think. The rosters you can find if you scroll up a bit at the LL Talk channel as little graphics, one red, one blue. And there was a rule that I imposed on myself when making these rosters to only include one player from each team. Of course, there are 12 teams in each league and only 9 players, so 3 teams didn't have a representative. Feel a bit bad about that, but there's still plenty of season to go, so there will be opportunities for coaches to propel their players into MVP candidacy. Speaking of potential MVPs, here's Leah Wayne with 5 home runs on the season for Notorious Pun's Indians. She will be starting the game off up against Christina Beatty, the Frank Thomas clone, who has 100 stamina, so she will likely be my pitcher as the backyard league coach for the entire game. Pitching low and to the corners. Leah does have 100 power, so I don't want to give her anything for free. Lindsay with her 8 speed, Lindsay being the representative for the Phillies, is able to grab that ball before it bounces in center field, and the backyard league has their first out. Now we've got Davy Marion representing Lillian's Orioles. And Francesca's going to make the grab here for the second out. Davy with 4 home runs on the season. So it looks like Matty Sam's strategy as the front yard league coach is to put all of his power hitters up at the start. I can't say I disagree with that strategy. We have Fred Benson here, who looks like he's going to fly out to the catcher. And Fred is actually leading the league in hits for George Bonauki's Rangers. Apologies to George if I mispronounced his last name. The teams change sides. And we've got Marilyn McDonald, the Derek Jeter clone, representing Jasmine's, I think they're the Super Duper Wombats. Now it would be very cool. Fred with a nice play there to Dimitri at first. It would be very cool if I could mod the game so that all the characters could wear their own team's uniforms. Twice now, the Fred to Dimitri connection paying off for Matty Sams and the Front Yard League. I would really love it if, I'm playing as the Pirates, who I play with during the season normally. So they're all wearing the same uniform, but I would love to see, all the players in their actual uniforms. If this All-Star Game idea gets some traction, maybe with the Humongous League, where some of the more influential mods are, perhaps. Maybe we could make that happen, because there are a bunch of talented coders and stuff in this community. So we have Chris Milton up on the mound for the Front Yard League. He's actually the Melonheads representative, so Matty Sams is quite familiar with his game. He's got a heat and I think a left hook. Is that? Yeah. That's how these guys function. And Lindsay Felgate, with her super powerful bat, draws a walk. Now, there are 2 outs in this inning, so she may not be able to get around the bases and get home to score a run. But Raphael is a big bat, so perhaps he can just hit her home, hit one over the fence, and get her home that way. Who is Raphael representing? Let me see. He's not here on the home run leaderboard. My memory's failing me. I'll look it up. Looks like I'm going to have time to do so because Maddie is pitching quite carefully. And in fact, Raphael draws a walk. Looks like Raphael is the representative for Tristan's Cubs. Now, I wasn't when I designed the rosters, I didn't just pick the best player from every single team. That would have kind of resulted in imbalanced rosters. It looks like after pitching 2 consecutive walks, Matty is making a pitching change. He does have a couple backup pitchers. And here's Holly Franklin for the Astros, coming in to try to clean up this inning. Maya Woodruff, the representative for Bedo's. I still don't know if I'm saying that correctly. I uploaded my game against him on this channel earlier, and I mispronounced it then. I'm probably mispronouncing it now as well. But his Reds. Unfortunately, I don't do her justice there as I take a third strike thinking that it was low. Matty does tend to pitch low, and he gets me there with it. But Maya being on the Backyard League team, the player who just struck out, that's an example of not picking the best player from every single team. If I were to pick the best player on the Reds, I would have picked Chico Papas, but got to make sure things are at least a little balanced. Rachel LaBuena leads off the 2nd inning for the Front Yard League. She has huge power. In fact, she leads the league in home runs with 6 at midseason, but all she can manage there is a pitiful little grounder, and she's easily thrown out for the first inning, for the first out of inning 2. Now we have Pamela Kirkos, the Jason Kendall clone. I had Jason Kendall last season, and I absolutely loved him. Lindsay makes it to the ball first. I send a left fielder away with a little click there, and so far it's been flawless fielding from both teams, which is important because as this is an all-star game, there's a bunch of powerful bats on both squads. Big hit from Holly here. Artie gets in position, and he doinks it. So in terms of the rankings, you know, the player rankings on the draft sheet, if any of y'all remember that far back, I believe Artie, who is the Pirates representative, that's my regular season team, is the lowest ranked player on the Backyard League squad. And for the Front Yard League, it is the Melonheads pitcher, their starting pitcher, Chris Milton. So over the course of the game, we'll see whether either of those players ends up being kind of a dead weight. We catch Dimitri, the Fishes representative, swinging on something he probably shouldn't have. A nice snag from Maryland there to end the, not end the 2nd inning, but send it to its bottom half. Jillian Payne now batting in, what is it, the 6th spot? And she hits a long one. But Rachel LaBuena, I believe, for the Front Yard League, is able to make that grab. Despite having only 5 speed, she was well positioned to catch it. And here's Artie, who I just mentioned, repping the Pirates. Artie providing great value for me this season so far based on where I drafted him in the 8th round, if you can believe it. But he's struggling to make good contact here against Holly Franklin. Might have been able to take that for ball 3, but I was concerned that it might be one of those low pitches that fools me. We do experience a little bit of lag. This was my first time ever streaming, as I did stream this game. Of course, the commentary I'm providing now is after the fact, but there were a few little laggy hiccups, like the one you just saw, throughout the course of the game. Nothing major, but still not something I prefer. I don't imagine I'm going to start streaming a whole bunch. Is this a strike? No, okay. We do let that go. This is Christina Beatty, pitcher representing the Devil Rays. She has the lowest ERA in the Backyard League, at least so far this season. I've got the stats up here on my other monitor. Let me go ahead and double check that. Yes, with a .92 ERA. You can see her on the mound now as we've changed sides. It's Christina Beatty. And the starting pitcher for the Front Yard League, Chris Milton of the Melonheads, he's got a .70 ERA. So leading that league in ERA, at least among complete game pitchers. Ronnie Dobbs swiftly retired, representing the Marlins. He'll get another turn up at bat later in the game. We'll see whether he can do some damage, as he has been during the regular season with 3 homers. And I completely missed whoever that was who swung on the first pitch and lined out to short. Marilyn McDonald getting a real workout over there between second and third. Big hit for Leah. I thought for a second there that the way that Francesca flubbed that ball high up in the air would allow her to get up and catch it again before it bounced. That's what I was hoping for. But we do allow Leah to get around to second base, which is a problem because she's fast. So Maddie will be looking to hit her home here with Davey Marion making his second appearance at the plate this game. And that is way, way high. But that's okay. We got to pitch carefully to him. And that's just what I was aiming for there. We're trying to get him to swing at pitches outside the zone. But as Maddie's record is currently sitting at 6-1, he likely has quite a strong eye, so it's going to be hard to get him to bite on too many junk pitches. We go for another one here, and he just lets it go. So with a full count now, we're still going to pitch low. But that ball ends up a little higher than I anticipated. Oh, that's just heartbreaking. The throw too high for Maryland. And in fact, I don't think it was the correct play for Maryland to throw it to Tony at all, because you saw Leah start to run from second to third for the Front Yard League. And Maryland probably could have just tagged her there. So that was a misplay on my part. Of course, we are not going to bite and throw to second. If we do, Leah will just sprint home. So we'll allow Davey to take second base. And now Fred the league leader in hits for the Rangers. Oh, what a perfect pitch. Fred is, the pressure is on. With 2 outs and 2 runners in scoring position, he's got to make this happen. But since I'm so far up in the count, I've got a little bit of room to work with. I can try to get another perfect pitch. Matty keeping his cool. We get him there, and Christina gets herself out of a jam to keep the game scoreless as we head into the bottom of the third. You can see the Pirates there, or rather the Backyard League team, is hitless with 2 errors. One of the errors coming from, if not Tony, then Marilyn on their failed relay attempt, which let Davey get on base. Tony is representing the Cardinals for the Backyard League. Of course, the Cardinals' best player is likely Henri Deschênes with 4 homers so far this season. But Tony actually has put up the most hits for the team. So he's got the highest batting average and just 1 error in 6 games. Something funky happens there, and perhaps it was a lag issue on Matty's end, but Ronnie just freezes. Not a good look for the little guy. So that is the Backyard League's first hit of the game. But unfortunately, we just line out to Dimitri, and he steps on the bag for the double play. That could not have gone much worse. But that's all right. Francesca Whitaker up to pitch. Francesca is representing the Blue Jays, who are a team with a record that's under 500, but they're looking to make a comeback. Tusk Healer has been posting a little bit in the LL Talk channel, saying that he's been playing some scrimmages and is looking forward to improving his record, making a bit of a playoff run. And it's definitely possible. I don't think that anyone is mathematically eliminated from the playoffs at this point. Whitaker takes a second strike on the inside corner. And Holly Franklin makes the grab there at shortstop. She was just moved off the mound to make way for Chris Milton, already proving valuable at 2 different positions. So the Front Yard League team is back up to bat with, again, the home run leader, Rachel Labuena. Looking for a solo shot here. Just an absolutely perfect corner pitch there. And Rachel, a big enough threat that I just decided to burn that fireball super quick. You can see, look how little juice that used for Christina. 100 stamina pitchers are truly built differently. And we get a more juice as well. I'm going to be honest, apart from Tony flubbing that ball from Maryland an inning ago, or was it 2 innings ago? My luck has been tremendous, getting a fireball and then a more juice as my 2 power-ups for 2 strikeouts. Here's Holly. Great on the mound for the Front Yard League. Great at the gap between second and third. Let's see, she can also be great at the plate. She already has a hit today. So one of the most valuable players, I would say, for the Front Yard League thus far. Fortunately, she does fly out to Artie, who redeems himself a little bit after his drop earlier in the game. And we're still scoreless going into the bottom of the fourth. A little bit more of that lag you see there as Lindsay falls on her face, then returns home to continue her at bat. Maddie smartly avoids the collision of his right fielder and second baseman there. And Lindsay flies out for the first out of the bottom of the inning. A little bit of greed there, I would say, from Chris, thinking he could get away with a third strike pitch like that. But there, he fools me. Hooks, more ambiguous than heaters and slow balls for sure. So he knew just what to do to get me to pull the trigger there. Well played from Matty Sams, and well pitched from Chris Milton. Unfortunately, Chris, not as strong a fielder as he is a pitcher, but he limits the damage by batting the ball down. And Dimitri, who's doing a bang-up job at first base for the Front Yard League, comes up to bat, looking for his first hit of the day. There's a pop-up to Artie. Will he make the grab? He does. Dimitri is sent packing, and here is Ronnie, looking to do a little bit more than line out to short here in his second time up at bat. A low, slow ball here. Ronnie fouls it off. He's behind in the count. Let's see if the pressure gets to the little guy. Staying cool so far. You hate to see that. Oh. Even when I was a kid, his strikeout animation always made me sad. Just gonna throw a nice and easy pitch to Chris, knowing he's got no bat to speak of. Don't want to waste too much stamina on getting the out. After all, I already have the fireball and the juice. I don't need any other strikeout power-ups. Here's Jillian Payne, leading off the bottom of the fifth inning for the Backyard League. Have I already said who Jillian is representing? The twins. Theo Epstein's twins. And in fact, the Twins' home field is Super Colossal Dome. So Jillian probably feels right at home here. This is a field with no odd bounces. Fields like Dirt Yards and Parks Department do have some pretty weird bounces that can cause... Ooh, not a great hit there from Jillian. And Chris has got the arm to get the out. Dimitri still holding it down at first. Yeah, this is definitely a fielder's field rather than a hitter's field. Without those bounces I was talking about. Here's Artie Pimpleton for the Pirates. And another catch from Holly at shortstop. Probably the star player of this game thus far. Ooh, I was completely fooled by that pitch. I'm gonna be honest. Even watching it back on the replay now, I was like, what? That was a ball? Bit of lag there. Of course, I didn't expect Christina to make it to first, as she is a 4-speed, the slowest player on the team. Probably the slowest player on either team. Top of the 6th inning here. We may be headed towards extra innings at this rate. We'll see whether Leah Wayne can get off to a big start. Lindsay gets in position. Oh, but drops that ball. And you can see there was not even a speck of hesitation from Matty Sams, as he had Leah immediately round first and sprint to second, knowing this is his chance to put a run on the board and then seal the game in the bottom of the 6th. So with a speedy player already on second base, he's looking to do some damage with Davy Marion. I opt to get the out here rather than throw immediately to third. Perhaps the better play was to field that ball with Tony and not step on first base, but to get Leah Wayne in a pickle. Because Davy's pretty slow. So if I had allowed him to get to first, that could have been the better course of action. Now Fred Benson is a victim of the fireball there. Probably would have expected him to get on base. I mean, as he is getting averaging more than 2 hits per game in the regular season, it hurts to see him go 0-3 there. There is the first run. An absolute rip of a single from the Athletics, Rachel Labuena. The home run leader, not hitting a home run to go ahead in the game, but driving Leah Wayne home. Speaking of things that hurt, you know, Fred Benson striking out from a fireball is one thing that hurts, but you know what else hurts is being down 1-0, knowing that your offense has not been producing. Gonna have to step it up a notch in the bottom of the 6th if I want to stay competitive. But before that, I've got to retire Pamela Kirkos. I decide to throw the heat here, kind of feigning a fireball. I don't think that actually fooled Matty, as I didn't see him swing early there. But sometimes when your opponent knows that you have a fireball, you can just throw a heat, and kind of the startup of the pitch looks the same as a fireball, and they'll swing super early. I've seen that work out before. That's in the past now. We have got to get on base if we want to send this game to extra innings, or even put it away in the bottom of the 6th. That ground out from Tony is not going to get us there, though. Back to the top of the order with the Wombats' Marilyn McDonald, one of the league leaders in hits. She's got 13 on the season thus far, 2 behind Fred Benson with his 15. Hitless today, looking to change that. But it's a ground out to Holly Franklin, who once again is holding it down for the Front Yard League. Down to our last out, we've got Francesca. Can she produce? Hurts to foul that one off. That was a beautiful pitch. Not for Matty Sams, but for me. Was looking like it was straight to the corner. And once again, Holly Franklin with the fantastic glove seals it for the Front Yard League, who wins 1-0. That was a great game. Well pitched by Maddie. Well played. Thanks to everybody for watching. Thanks to everyone for playing all their games so far this season to rack up enough stats that I could figure out who ought to be on the teams. And of course, everyone is welcome to use these rosters to play, their own All-Star games or design their own rosters. Thanks again for watching. Have a good one.